everyone, Lady De Winter here, and today I want to talk to you about stash busting. Yes, I have yarn. I've told you before, I have tons of yarn. I have thousands of dollars worth of yarn. Problem is, a lot of the yarn is in little balls like this. Or I make bigger ones like that. Or maybe I sew it all together, tie it all together and make little balls like this. Or I have balls like that. Now, this is one tub of balls that I have. See all the balls? It's not the only one. And this is another tub. Now, what do I do with all those balls? Well, if you follow Granny Square Peg, or you're a member of Crochet Attic, where recently I asked people how they crochet a heavy blanket in summertime when it is 100 degrees outside. Many of the answers was I sit under my air conditioner, which I do that anyway, but it still sometimes is not enough. Granny Square Peg makes granny squares. She makes granny squares out of her little balls of yarn, and then she basically throws them in a tub until she gets enough, and she makes a blanket. Now, I thought that was a brilliant idea. I made some magic balls of yarn. In fact, this is pretty much all magic balls of yarn here. As you can see, the purple peeking through there, and this is gray with some other colors peeking through. This is a blue with some other colors peeking through. I made magic balls out of a lot of that yarn. And that is what I'm using to make these squares. These squares are hard on my hands though. But these squares are very, very easy to make. Now what I'm doing is I wait until I get a bunch of these squares together and I can make a blanket. And that to me I think is a brilliant use of the scrap yarn I have. Which this is not all. There's more out in my shed. There's more in my bedroom. I have, like I said, probably thousands of dollars worth of yarn. Now, I'm not one of those YouTubers with a big wall of yarn behind me because I can't afford to do that. I'm on a widow's pension. But when I do make projects, I do have leftover balls of yarn. And I have been crocheting for, let's see, I'm 66 now. I started when I was 11. You do the math. Anyway, this is all the yarn I have. Now, mind you, this is not yarn from when I was 11. This is like the last couple of years worth of yarn that I have stowed in my shed and kind of forgot about. You get a little ball of yarn, you throw it in a tub, then you're like, oh, that's in the way, let's put it in the shed. That's what I did. So anyway, granny squares are a great saving grace to that situation. You can make them as little or as large as you want them to be. Sew them together, and before you know it, you have a blanket. So, I hope that suggestion helps you with your stash busting. It's actually helping me quite a bit, and once again, this was suggested by Granny Square Peg and Crocheting into the Night Crochet. She does a lot of granny squares and puts them aside and waits to make a blanket. And I'm sure there's other YouTubers who do that same thing. So look them up. They're interesting. They're fun. And this really helps you use up a bunch of yarn that otherwise would just sit in a tub in your house somewhere, or in your basement, or in your garage, or in your shed. So until next time, this is Lady De Winter reminding you that you're never too old to do anything you put your mind to doing. Sometimes you just have to find a workaround. Bye-bye for now.